What's up, guys? My name is Olumide, and I'm the second half of the November couple. Thank you for tuning into this video, and thank you for the love and support so far. So in today's video, I just want to do a quick guide / tips for if you are renting an apartment in Calgary or if you're looking to rent an apartment in Canada. Some of these tips will apply to Canada.
White girls better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pine. If you wanna touch me, please use caution.
So a little bit of intro. I've lived in Calgary for about 3 years now, and I've had the opportunity to live in all of the quadrants of the city. When I moved to Calgary, I used to live in the northwest, and then I moved from the northwest, I live in the southeast, and from the southeast I moved to the northeast, and now I'm currently living in the southwest. So I feel like I should just give some tips as to how I look for apartment and everything. And when I first moved and I was living in the northwest, I was living with a friend. So I just moved to Canada then, so I was living with a friend. And from there I moved to a shared apartment, and then after that I got my own apartment, something bigger, and now I live with family in the southwest. So the first thing that I would like to say first is you need to consider the role of Airbnbs. And that's if you are new to Canada and you have not found an apartment before you move here, you can rent an Airbnb. Like I know people that will move into an Airbnb for a couple of weeks or a month and then use that time to get used to the environment, know exactly whether they want to live in the region of that Airbnb or move somewhere else. So they use that 1 month or 3 weeks gap to shop around for apartments. So you're a bit more comfortable. You are not rushing to get something, right? So get an Airbnb. Use that one to explore the area, or better if you have friends around the area that can help you get something. But of course, it's always better to see something for yourself. So you can consider getting an Airbnb, do like sort of like a shortlet, right? So use that to explore the area and find something that you really want, and then go for it. There are about 3-4 websites that are most popular for looking for apartments. There's Rent Faster, we have Kijiji, we have Facebook Market, and we have Pad Mapper. I'll put the links in the description. So for Facebook Market, that one may be tricky. The other websites, Rent Faster, all the other ones I mentioned, you can access them before you move into Canada. But I understand that Facebook Market is sort of region based. So if your region doesn't, or if Facebook Market isn't enabled or supported in your region, you won't be able to use that. So, but the other 3 can work for you. So Rent Faster is quite popular. That's one that I personally use to get all of the apartments that I've ever lived. So it's as simple as just going to the website and looking. You can put in your budget. You can put in like a minimum or a maximum. You can put in whether you want a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom or a shared apartment. You can put the kind of apartment you're looking for. Is it an apartment or a proper house or condo type? You can put the location, the area that you want the apartment to be in. And you just search, and you can contact the landlord from there, have the back and forth and organize to go and actually view the house. So before we get to the part where you actually go to look at the apartment, to view where you're eventually going to live, what I find interesting is sometimes it's cheaper to rent a 2-bedroom than to actually rent a 1-bedroom. So if you are with a buddy, if you have a friend with you, you can get a 2-bedroom and then split it. That would be cheaper than each of you getting 1 bedroom. So yeah, you can consider that if you have a friend that you can share the apartment with, then both of you should just go for it. Both of you will sign the lease, right? And you just get a 2-bedroom and you share that. It's cheaper to get a 2-bedroom than to get a 1-bedroom. You can get a 1-bedroom for example $1,000, and then 2-bedroom maybe $1,200 or $1,300. So it's just $300 difference. So if you split that, you of course end up paying less for 2-bedroom than for 1-bedroom. And then what I also find interesting is, so a lot of the apartments, they have deals. So, and especially if the building you're going for is managed by, like a property management company, they usually have deals ongoing. So some of them will advertise the deal. They will make it public, like, oh, we have 1 month free if you sign 12 months lease with us. We have so and so if you do so and so. And sometimes they don't talk about the deal. So when you are going to view an apartment, you should ask. You should always make sure to ask, oh, do you guys have any perks or any deals going on that I can take advantage of? I find that interesting that some of them didn't mention it, and then when I asked, they said, oh yes, we actually have this going on now. So use that to get yourself a good deal. Because they usually don't, well, from my experience, you can't really negotiate the price of the apartment, but from those deals, you are able to, get a better deal. And it's interesting also because you may be living in a one-bedroom apartment in the same building with another person living in a one-bedroom apartment, but you are paying less than that person because you got a better deal than that person. Another thing to look out for is you can find somebody that maybe their lease is not ended and they are moving out. So you can always get a good deal there. So you just sort of like inherit the deal from that person, the lease from that person, and then you continue that lease to the end of it, then you can decide whether you want to renew or not. So for instance, if I'm living in an apartment that is a 1-year lease that I signed, and I have to move out at the 9th month, which means according to the contract I signed, I have 3 more months. So I will be desperately looking for somebody that, so that I don't incur, because there's a penalty clause, right? There's a penalty clause if you get out of your lease before the lease ends, so that I don't incur that penalty clause. I can get someone else that will continue my lease, so I can, move on with my own self, and that person will incur that lease. So if you find someone like that, usually those kind of people, they also list on Rent Faster or any of those other websites that I mentioned. You can always get a good deal like that. And also, yeah, of course, go and view the apartment, find out what they have. If you see somebody that used to live there, you want to make sure that you can ask the person questions. Oh, what do you think about living in this place? Are there any complaints? Do you have any complaints about the apartment? And of course, make sure that you have self-service in the apartment, because if you're going to be living there, you want to make sure that there's self-service there, which I have not had any problem with that. So depending on the season that you're moving in, what I find out is that sometimes there are more deals in the summer than in the winter, or vice versa. So just need to understand the state of the market at the time that you're moving, and then plan your list accordingly, so you know when to get in and when to get out, and you can decide to renew your lease or not. And I mentioned something about a 1-year lease. So typically in Canada, you can decide to do a lease agreement, like a lease contract with your landlord, which can be one person as a landlord, or like a property management company. So if you sign a contract, usually for 1 year or 6 months or 2 years, they usually try to give you like a better peg, like better deals when you sign longer with them, because of course they're trying to retain you longer. And then and in some instances, you can also get a month-to-month deal. That just means that you didn't sign a contract to be with them for a year. You just keep renewing your rent. You just keep renewing your contract at the end of each month. So you can decide. The advantage of that is you're a bit more flexible. So if for some reason you have to move out next month, you can just up and go once you finish the first month. But if you sign a 1-year lease, usually you kind of have to live in the building for the duration of that lease, unless, like I mentioned earlier, you find somebody that can take over that lease from you and then continue and finish it. Of course, you will come out and collect your security deposit. If you watch the video to this point, usually this is where we are going to have sponsored content, but we don't have branding. So please subscribe if you watch it to this point. Please subscribe, like. Have you done it? Awesome. Thanks. So the security deposit is the amount you put down with your first rent. If you break something, they use from that security deposit to fix whatever you break. It's refundable, of course. It's fully refundable when you are moving out. So also, when you are moving in, there's usually a moving inspection. So that moving inspection is for anything that is already damaged before you move in. You should absolutely be present for that moving inspection, because you can also look at it with the representative of the building. Take a look around, any scratches you see, anything broken, so they note it down so that you don't be the one to pay for it. If it's a previous tenant that broke something and they miss it, then so you do that moving inspection with them, so that when you're leaving, they don't count that against you, so you can get your full security deposit. And the security deposit varies. It can be from $500, it can be $250, it can be $1,000, it can be $2,000, depending of course on your rent per month. So assuming you search for your apartment, you like what you see, you've taken a look at the apartment, and you're about to sign your lease. So of course the lease is a contract agreement. You need to read through properly to make sure that there isn't any clause that you're not okay with. So some buildings allow you to have dogs. You need to pay attention to that. If you are not a dog person, then I don't know if you want to live in a building that would allow dogs. Those are some of the things that you need to ask when you are moving in. And in Canada, yeah, if you're living in a very highbrow area, if you're living in downtown, you need to pay attention to like the homeless community there. So you want to live in a place, you don't want to live in a place that is unsafe at night. You want to pay attention to that there. So, just look around, maybe drive around later in the evening to just have a sense of what that place looks like or what that place feels like later at night. So now you have your lease drawn out, you're ready to sign your lease. You need to, like I said, pay attention to all the clauses there, read through it properly. And when you sign, so depending on how long you sign for, your contract starts, you select a moving date. And of course, when you want to move in, you can get like a truck company to move all your things and then you move into your apartment. And you're good to go. On your moving out day also, there will also be that same inspection that I spoke about earlier. So this is to inspect whether anything is broken for the duration of the time that you've been there. Another thing to note is ideally wear and tear of the apartment isn't considered, it doesn't affect your security deposit. Of course, you've been living in an apartment for a year, it is expected to be a bit dirty, the walls are slightly stained, of course, not like some ridiculous thing. If you move into an apartment and you change anything in the apartment, and when I mean change, what I mean is, say you move into an apartment and the walls were white and you don't like white walls, so you paint it red, you paint it brown. When you're moving out, you need to absolutely restore the apartment to the way you met it. So if you install a wallpaper in any of the rooms, you need to peel it off when you are leaving. So you need to restore it to status quo, the way you saw it before you took it. So, and ideally, what they do is, when the previous tenants or when you move out, they paint the apartment. So they are able to clean the apartment, they paint it. So of course, make sure that any apartment that you're moving into is properly clean, is properly painted, so it should look clean and pristine before you move in. So all of those minor wear and tear here, stains here, those ones are not considered anything major. But when it goes to, say, you broke a door, definitely they're going to charge you for that. Now mind you, your security deposit is not enough to cover whatever damage has been done on the building. You will be charged more. So it will be like, say, your security deposit was $500 and the damages to the door will cost them $800. They will take your entire security deposit and you will still be owing them $300 balance. And there is no scenario where they will let you get it done for them. No, you just pay them and they will do it. They will probably just send you a bill. I've not had any scenario where I had to lose my security deposit, but I imagine they will send you a bill and you see the bill and you just pay. That's how that works. So moving out inspection, take note of that. Remember to collect your security deposit. There's nothing wrong with the building, and then that's it. So remember the website Rent Faster, Padmapper, Kijiji.ca for Canada, and Facebook Market if you have access to Facebook Market. And of course, it's always better to move in the summer because of course winter is usually a mess and it's cold. So it's always better to move in the summer. Another thing that I should mention is so when you sign a 1 year lease, ideally at the end of that 1 year lease, you can continue your lease month to month. Now, the caveat there is, so if you get some deals attached to that 1 year lease, and after the 1 year lease, you want to continue month to month, there's a chance that you're going to lose those deals because those deals are attached to 1 year length of leases. So you need to put that into consideration. If you are fine with losing those deals and just continue month to month, that's perfectly okay. So yes, that is basically what I have today. So thank you for watching this video. Once again, subscribe, like, thank you for the support, and put comments below if you live in Canada and you have any interesting experience with renting an apartment. Let's talk about it. Yeah, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.
Piece. Take the west side, take out the east, and I'll put them in the case, never let out the start. I hear them chatting and noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear them chat with the boys, man, so